Just like sit back. You don't need to be right in front of the keyboard here. And just simply relax and close your eyes. And just give yourself full permission to totally relax and be fully present to this moment. Everything that was happening earlier today, just let it go. You can come back to it after the meditation. All expectations for this meditation, just let that go too. Just simply relax into this openness, the openness that simply allows everything to be as it is without any expectations, without any biases, without any projections, without any judgments. Just simply resting as this open space of awareness. And the key is simply allowance. Thoughts will arise, and that's okay. Feelings will arise, and that's okay. Just simply allow the thoughts to be here. Allow the feelings to be here. Don't resist any thought. Don't resist any feeling. Just allow everything to be as it is. If thoughts are positive, just allow the thoughts to be as they are. If thoughts are negative, just allow the thoughts to be as they are. If the feeling is light, allow the feeling to be as it is. If the feeling is heavy, allow the feeling to be as it is. Just simply allow everything to be. Any sounds in the environment, allow them to be here in this open space of awareness. When we're allowing everything to be as it is, we're not judging. We're not verbalizing, that sound is so annoying. I wish it would stop. We're not doing any of that. So there's no labeling. That's a loud sound. That's a quiet sound. That's an annoying sound. That is the activity of labeling. We're just allowing everything to be as it is. And we're just simply noticing sounds in the environment, noticing sensations of the body, noticing thoughts arising, noticing feelings arising, just simply noticing the experience of what is. What is everything that is here now. See that the thought that is here is no different than the sound that is here, and is no different than the sensation in the body that is here, and that is no different than the smell that is here. Notice how all of that is experience, something that you are noticing, and that noticing is happening in this open space of awareness. The sound is happening in the open space of awareness, and the thought is happening in the open space of awareness. And any tension in the body is also happening in the open space of awareness. And any smell is happening in the open space of awareness. And notice that all these experiences are just passing by. This open space of awareness is just like the sky. It's vast, it's boundless, it's transparent, it's wide open. This is like you, the open space of awareness. An experience is just like a cloud. Different clouds, different experiences. Thought clouds, feeling clouds, sensation clouds, sound clouds, smell clouds. They're all just clouds. And you are like the sky that simply allows all the clouds to be in you. You're okay with the white fluffy clouds, and you're okay with the dark storm clouds. And just simply witness the clouds pass by. Just be fully present with whatever experience is passing by. Don't try and change a dark storm cloud into a white fluffy cloud. Don't try and resist any dark storm clouds. Don't try and hold on to white fluffy clouds. Just witness the clouds pass by from a distance without judging any experience, without identifying with any experience. Without being involved in any experience, without investing in any experience. You are detached from the experience. And you notice that you are always free from the experience, that there's always an experience of what is happening, a new thought arising, a new feeling arise, a new sound arising. But all these experiences are just temporary experiences, just paying you a little visit. And just like the clouds, they are impermanent. There's no cloud that stays in the sky forever. Even after the darkest storms, the sky still remains. And you are like that sky. The sense of I am, I exist. As soon as we say, I am angry or I am sad, this is what I'm saying is being involved, being identified with experience. So simply rest in the sense of I am, I exist, and see that you are always here now. See that thoughts are not always here now. Thoughts are coming and going. And the ability to simply watch thoughts come and go is a significant sense of freedom. The ability to simply observe a feeling arise and fall is a significant sense of freedom. And it doesn't require you to do anything. Just simply being aware, which you are always, being present with experience, without identifying with experience gives you this significant sense of freedom. And just simply resting as this open space of awareness, knowing that you are always free from experience, allows you to fully allow and accept and embrace all experiences. It's this level of transcendence that allows you to embrace the negative feelings just as much as you embrace positive feelings. This level of transcendence allows you to not be afraid of any thoughts, to not be overwhelmed by any thoughts. In the same way as no storm could ever overwhelm the sky, the sky is always transcendent of any storm, any cloud. The sky never gets wet, no matter how much it rains. So whatever the experience is, whether it be a frustrating experience, annoying experience, painful experience, sad experience, see that these are just flavors of experience. But what you are is always beyond that experience. What you are is never touched by that experience. What you are is always free from that experience. And by just simply resting as yourself, this open space of awareness, you're no longer trying to escape experience. You're no longer trying to resist experience. You're just being present with experience. It's this warm, open invitation for any experience to simply pass by. And what you call life is just a constant flow of experiences that is unfolding in this present moment, as this present moment. And see that this awareness that you are is not separate from this present moment. There is this present moment, what is, anything that is here now, and the only way that you are aware of what is, the only way that you are aware of this present moment, that which makes this present moment possible to experience, is the fact that you are aware. You are awareness. So just like the clouds are dependent on the sky is not dependent on the clouds. There can be a sky with no clouds, just like there can be awareness with no thoughts. And when you see that you have been identifying with a thought, you are identifying with something that is impermanent, something that's coming and going, something that's passing by. You get mixed up with the content. The clouds are the content of the sky, and the sky is what's containing that content. Without that which contains the content, there could be no content. The thoughts, the feelings, the sounds, the smells, this is all content of experience, which is contained in you, awareness. You are primary. Just like the sky is primary to the clouds. The clouds cannot exist without the sky, but the sky exists without the clouds. Experience cannot exist without you, but you exist without experience. Experience is borrowing its reality from you. You are giving reality to every experience. You are fundamental. Every experience is only possible because I am. because I exist. I am here before experience, during experience, and after experience. Every experience has a start and an end. But I, awareness, have no start, have no end. Every experience appears and disappears in me because I am ever present. Every experience only lasts for a certain duration, a certain amount of time, but I am timeless. Just like the sky has no border or boundary, you, awareness, have no border or boundary. Just be aware how you can simply notice all different experiences and just simply allow them to be as they are. Allow them to be here now within you. With this vast open space of awareness, you just simply allow the mind to do whatever it wants. You don't try and control the mind. You don't try and limit the mind to a certain area. You don't create a fence for the mind. If the mind wants to run, let it run. You're this vast open space of awareness that is infinite. Just give the mind as much room, as much space as it needs. If it wants to run crazy, just let it run crazy. It's like a wild horse, but don't try and fence in the wild horse. Give that wild horse as much land as it needs. And you'll notice that it runs wild, and without trying to limit it and control it and tame it, it naturally just tires itself out. Eventually, it comes to a rest because you're just simply allowing it to be, allowing it to be as it is, not trying to change it, not trying to judge it, not resisting it, not rejecting it, not fighting it, not controlling it. When you let go of control, when you let go of trying to control the mind, it might seem like the thoughts are uncontrollable and they just simply arise one after the other. But notice how even this is not overwhelming. Notice how you can only experience one thought at a time. You can never experience two thoughts at a time. So there's no need to be overwhelmed. When you let go of control, it might feel like the mind is racing, but just let it run by just simply watching it, being the open space that is infinite. You simply just watch it run. You let it run for as long as it wants to. And eventually it just starts slowing down and it's no longer a problem. Stops becoming a problem as soon as you stop identifying with the thoughts by simply watching, witnessing, observing the mind. You don't create any problems. You're just seeing the activity of the mind. And you'll see the activity of the mind just like you're watching a movie, like you're watching it on a screen, like it's just playing to be seen. As long as you remain watching and not getting sucked into the movie, then you always have this level of detachment. So you just simply watch whatever arises and just simply be with that experience fully by allowing it to be as it is without changing, without resisting. We're just simply going to watch the mind, watch any thoughts, watch any feelings that arise, and watch it without any great interest. Watch it like you're watching someone else's mind. You're not overly invested in it. Forget about it being your mind and just simply rest in yourself, just simply noticing. Not that you need to take notes, you're just simply noticing whatever arises and noticing how everything just simply pops up to be experienced and then it vanishes and then there might be something else after that. Just simply remain present, being silent and still, and just simply watch. And anytime you get lost in the thoughts or the feelings, just simply notice it and come back to watching. And slowly open up your eyes. All right. How is that, Simon?
Incredibly relaxing.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Having
Good,
that
good.
space between the thoughts, not attaching. If I did attach, it was just for a couple of seconds and then moving on.
Awesome. Awesome. Were they, I got to say the word feel, but were they appearing in you? Did you have that sense how I was describing that the thoughts are appearing
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
just kind of
yeah,
passing through you
yeah.
and arising in?
I related to a lot of what you were saying. Um,
Good.
um, but there was spaciousness between the thought. It
Yep.
didn't seem to be really
Yeah.
attached to who I was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you're caught up in the activity of the thought, it's just thought, 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 and you're unaware of the space in between the thought. As soon as you start becoming aware of the space around the thought, the space in between the thought, then there's more space that actually opens up in between thought one and thought two. The space
yeah,
becomes very apparent so that the thoughts then slow down the activity. And it's like it goes from thought, 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 thought to then thought, thought, and then thought. Like it just, the space is then lengthened. So then there's the experience of less thoughts and just more space, more of that emptiness, the stillness, the silence that's actually always here in between each thought, that's actually underlying the thought, that surrounds the thought. And that's something that we can practice next week, is making that even more, where that peace becomes even more profound, is
yeah,
the space starts opening up. And the more we simply divert the attention away from the content to the space that all the content is arising in, the space that's in between the thoughts, then there's even more peace. It's like exponential.
yeah.
So that's good
Yeah.
that you're getting that you're noticing that. Awesome. Anything else that you want to add?
So I guess when you increase that spaciousness, that's when you're tapping more into the present moment.
Yeah, I mean, you were just experiencing the present moment during the meditation.
Yeah,
Were you thinking about the past or the future
no,
during the no? So you're
a
present.
little bit.
That's the present moment. Okay. But then it felt like you kind of detached and then came back, you could say,
Yeah,
right? So it's just that stream of thought that's taking you into the past, or the stream of thought that's taking you into the future. I usually, there's another meditation that we can do another time, but I usually relate it to, it's just a train of thought. You know how people relate to, oh, I lost my train of thought. When you, it's like you're at the train station, and as long as you don't hop on a train, you're not going to the past and you're not going to the future. That's where the train of thoughts go. You get lost in the past or you get lost in the future if you hop on the train. But if you can just simply stay at the train station and just watch the trains go by, you never take that trip to the past or the future. And that's the key. And that's just watching. That's just the train station is the present moment. But if you get on a train, then you could say leaving the present moment. You're not ever leaving the present moment, but it has that feeling. And then you get lost in the past or the future.
yeah,
Really, all thoughts are past and future. So when you're really present, you're not really experiencing too much thoughts. The thoughts are arising, but it's like they don't take you anywhere because you're not actually getting on board.
yeah,
And that just comes with more and more practice. So then you're never really getting lost. You're always here.
Yeah.
You can only get lost mentally. So that's good. That's really good. Yeah. You're experiencing the present moment. And then that just becomes more, it's just like you become more and more present.
Yeah.
That you're in that you're living in the present moment as the present moment in more than just, a 1 hour meditation or however long we're meditating for with me on a Wednesday night or Wednesday morning for you. Right? You're experiencing more and more of it with that practice. Then you're then present while washing dishes, vacuuming the house, driving to work, walking at the waterfront. You're just present more and more.
Yeah.
So the experience is then you're experiencing more of that peace that you said. You said, "Oh, significantly peaceful," or something, whatever you said.
Yeah.
Right? That's always here. Notice how that peace, I didn't give it to you as a gift in a nice package with a bow on it. It must mean that it's always here. You didn't create it.
No.
You just simply started noticing that peace that's always here when the thought stream, when you weren't playing with the thoughts, when you weren't involved in the thoughts, when you weren't identified as the thoughts. That peace is always here. It just kind of feels like it's more in the background, which means that it doesn't mean that it's not strong. It's very strong. And what happens with the truth transmission, it becomes very easy. These thoughts just start dissolving, melting. They're still there, but there's just not nearly as much of these thoughts as they are that you're used to. So the experience is that you slip into this meditative state very easily, effortlessly. You're just into it, and you'll see the more you come to these meetings, the more open you become. It's like you feel it immediately when you just connect on the call. It's like your mind just becomes more peaceful. And then you're just in this meditative state. Even when I'm just kind of talking, making small talk at the start, you just become meditative because you're tuning into that field of energy that's always here. And then that becomes more of a living experience moment to moment in your life. You start being able to tune into that. And what you're tuning into is actually our true nature. And that's what you start living as that moment to moment. Instead of living as the activity of the mind, you're living as your true nature. Which then all that feeling of freedom and happiness and profound peace and love, that's your true nature. That's like this fragrance that's coming from you. It's not being, no one's giving it to you. You're not creating it. It's always here. It's just simply that you're just noticing it when the things that are blocking it are removed. So it has the thoughts and feelings have this veiling effect that it veils our true nature. Just like the clouds, dark clouds can veil completely, they can veil the sky or veil the sun, you should say, right? And it's like, people say, there's no sun out today. Yes, there is. The sun is always there. It's just you're not seeing it because the clouds are so dark. There's no gaps in between the clouds. When there's gaps in between the clouds, then you see the sunlight. So what you experience there is normally there's no gaps in between the clouds. And then during this meditation, you said, I'm aware of the space in between the clouds, meaning you're like, I can see the sun poking through. And what that sun poking through is this causeless happiness, this profound peace, this freedom, it's like this love for just what is. And it's like beaming through. And now you're just starting to notice. You're like, it's not just all gray sky today. There's actually clouds but I'm noticing the gaps in between the clouds. I'm noticing the gaps in between the thoughts. That's what you're saying. So that's what you're seeing is it's our true nature that actually just starts feeling like it's beaming through, starts permeating through the breaks of the clouds. And with more practice, there's just more and more of that those breaks in between, or the gaps in between the clouds. And with more practice, you just start experiencing this not only in meditation. You notice it driving the car, while walking, while doing dishes, while cleaning, doing chores, all that stuff. You just notice it there, which then means that all the activity that you do has that quality of peace behind it. It has that freedom behind it. That you actually start experiencing that you experience that freedom while driving the car. You experience the freedom while vacuuming the house. You experience the peace while washing dishes. You experience the happiness while just drinking coffee. And it's always there. That even in the most annoying situations in life, it's like my son just has like these meltdowns. He's in this phase, 3-year-old, it's like he just has these meltdowns for no reason, becomes very irritable, becomes very frustrated, and he's just losing his thing. Even while that's going on, I'm allowing that to happen. But there's just this peace it's like the peace is louder than his annoying screaming and whining and crying, right? It's there. It's like it cancels it out. It's like it cancels it out. So that's good. That's good. Luke, what was your experience there? What?
My experience was a lot of fluctuation. There was times where for like a while it was pretty peaceful, but um, I was like, I was coming back a lot. I found myself like almost dreaming. I was kind of tired, so with my eyes closed, I was kind of like drifting a little bit, and then I would
Luke?
realize that I was like, it was thinking, but it almost had like a dream quality. Like I wasn't thinking about like what I gotta do. I was just like
Yeah.
just it was just like a dream almost. And but then I would realize, and I was like, oh, I come back, be back for a
Yep.
bit, and then kind of wander off, and then oh, come back. Okay, I'm
Yep.
here. Yeah, I'm aware, I'm present, I'm witnessing, and then again, all of a sudden,
Okay.
wander off.
So let me stop you there. So notice how this was different than your usual thinking, your active
Mhm.
thinking.
It was.
Notice how you just let the mind run. Wasn't it just like it was running? Like it was kind of
Mhm.
like you just let the program run on the TV screen, right? It was just running.
Mhm.
You just allowed it to. And it's like you're just watching, and what's happening is attention is just drifting off with it. It's like the scenes are playing and the attention's just watching it, and it's just drifting, and then you pull attention back,
Yeah.
and then it drifts. And you notice that it's drifting, but it feels very passive. It doesn't feel like you're actually involved in it. You're not creating these worst case scenarios where you're
Yeah,
creating
it
all
was
this worry
almost
and
like
anxiety.
it almost felt like a new experience. Like it was like thinking, but not about anything. It was just like you said,
Yeah.
it was like autopilot, passive, just
Yeah.
happening.
It's more like this passive thinking. You're just letting, like I said, like it's like you treat it like a wild horse, and it's just you let it roam. You just let it roam. You give it so much space, and you've let go of control. I mean, you're not trying to confine this horse into this tiny little pen. It's like you go out there in the field and you take down all of the fences and you say, "You're free. Run. Go for it. Tire yourself out." Now, if we stayed long enough there at the end, I threw it in at the end as like the actual kind of practice, kind of gave you the instructions and kind of description of how to like, see, kind of treat it or see yourself as the sky. But you would start with that kind of practice. You would start with what we did at the end. You'd relax, you'd get into this relaxed state, and we'd start with the stuff that we did at the end. We can do it next week. And you just let it roam. And what you'll notice is basically you just let it roam. And basically 5, maybe 10 minutes, might not even take 10 minutes, is it just starts, the activity just starts coming down. And you'll notice that it's this passive, you just let it run passively. not that you have to keep your eye on the clock or anything, but it's typically it's like it just goes like that for about 5 minutes. It lets it run, and then it just starts going like this, and it just starts slowing down. And then that's when you just slip into this deep meditative state where there's very few thoughts, and you're not really aware of that thing that's happening, the thought content. That's why it was like you're actually slipping into it very slowly. Like, not that it's like I just say slowly, not that you're slow or anything. It's just that's what it happens. It happens. You say it would happen to me as well. It's just that let it run, and because you're not trying to control it, there's this passivity to it. There's just this allowance. You just allowed it to run. That's the difference, because usually when you're actively thinking, you're actually trying to control your thoughts. But you're noticing that this was different, that this was like dreaming, but not really dreaming. Like you're kind of like, you're dreaming, but you're like aware that you're dreaming. So it had this lucidity to it. Right?
It was
Because
strange.
you're aware. You're like, it's drifting. It kind of feels like you're drifting. It has this feeling like you're kind of drifting. It has a feeling like you're almost in the ocean floating. And it's like where you were on the beach, where you're lined up with your umbrella, you all of a sudden got taken away just a little bit. And then you come back, you're like, oh shit, where was my umbrella? And you come back to where you were. You're like, I should be in front of my umbrella. But the movement of the ocean is always just taking you away. But it's passive. You're not actually walking, you're like floating away. But every now and then you just come back. And what you notice is that movement just, it takes you away less and less the longer you let the mind run. And like I said, there's something happens in around, it might be 5 minutes, it might be 10 minutes, it might be 15 minutes, but you just notice that you just start, you don't get taken away as quickly and as far. And that's just the practice, exactly what you're doing there. You just notice, as soon as you notice that you're just drifting with it, you just bring yourself back. And then you drift, right? When you just lose it, just drift, and then just bring yourself back. And then it just stops, it just has this feeling like it stops pulling you. It stops taking you away. And then you're left with nothing. You're left with no activity happening, which then it's obvious that it's just you. Because even when you're drifting away, did you notice how you weren't even aware of the body?
Yeah, no, I was like, it was somewhere else. I was somewhere else.
Exactly. Because you're just aware of that mental activity. You weren't even aware of the body. And so when that mental activity just, you say, comes to a rest, then what's left? Because you're not aware of the body and you're not aware of the mental activity. But what's left? What's left is just the awareness that is there, that is always here. And that's when it reveals itself, you could say, experientially, because it's obviously just you. Everything else is gone. No awareness of a body. Were you aware of the world, the weather? No. No awareness of a world, no awareness of a mind. But there's just awareness. And it becomes self-evident that you are that. You're just aware that you are aware. Not aware of anything. Just aware that you are aware. The awareness of I exist. And that's what I said, is when it's like the clouds, when they just disperse and they're gone, it's like the sky just realizing, wow, I'm the sky. Why do I know that I'm the sky? Because there's no clouds. The clouds are gone today. So therefore it's the sky that's like self-aware. It's like, I'm still here. I always thought that I was dependent on the clouds. I thought that was me. But because they're gone and I'm still here, always present without those clouds, then I'm not dependent on those clouds. So those clouds are like the experience. You're just experiencing, just like I said, you weren't even experiencing the body. So those type of clouds were gone. There was just the experience of the kind of the mental activity. So those clouds were still there, but they were just kind of, like I said, it was almost like they're passing by and attention's like following them. and then you pull it back, and then it's like there's a new cloud, and then you watch that cloud, and then you pull it back. And then, like I said, there comes a time in the meditation where then there's no clouds, and that attention is just here. It's just on you, the sky. And that's when the profound realization is actually made, because it becomes experiential, that you exist beyond everything, because there's absolutely nothing. There's no experience happening in terms of content. So there's the experience of, you can say there's the experience of no experience. It's just the awareness of no experience. But then that means that there's an awareness that's always here. And it's like the realization is made that that's you. It has to be you. It's so obvious because you're the only thing that's left. That's why I said it's like a removal process. You remove everything that's in the way, and what's left when everything that's non-essential is gone, the world, that's non-essential, the body, that's non-essential, the mind, that's not essential, then what's left is just the essence, which that's what you are. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's really that's really good for you to notice that like passive, whatever you're saying, it's just kind of feels like a day, like almost like a daydream. That's really like that's like a good milestone for you, for like someone who hasn't like meditated, and to just kind of slip into it. Like I said, if you just start with that practice at the start, now that you kind of know, you could say, I don't like to call this like techniques or anything, or say that there's steps in meditation. So I'm showing you this natural meditation is it's like you lay down, you're comfortable, or you just sit somewhere you're comfortable. And it's just like, you just let go control. You just let that thing go. Let the mind go, just how you do. And it will go, and it just starts going like this. And then it's like it disappeared. It's like everything disappeared.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you could say it's like this sleepless sleep. It's like everything's asleep, but you're not asleep. You're wide awake. You're wide awake. It used to happen to me, and it used to happen where I would hear the body start snoring. I'd hear the body start snoring. It's like the body becomes very still. It's like the mind's becoming still. And then you just be like, and you're just listening to the snoring. You're like listening to your body snoring. It's like, all right, the body's asleep. That's gone. And then the mind, it's very slow. And then the mind's gone. And then there's no awareness of even the snoring. Yet you're wide awake. It's like you're aware. You're alert. That's what I call it. It's like the sleepless sleep. It's like everything went to sleep. Everything disappeared, but you didn't disappear. And you're just left with your true nature. So the the feeling is just something you've never experienced before. It's like just this profound peace, this happiness for no reason, this love, this freedom. It's all this fullness. It's all there. Everything just is like a distraction, distracting you from yourself. So that's good. That's good. It's like some of these things, when you could say hit these milestones. I mean, it's just like that in a sense, then makes you gives you a sense of almost like confidence about your own meditation practice, where it's like, okay, when someone can kind of confirm and say like, no, that's actually good that you're experiencing that. Like, that's actually good. Then it's like, oh yeah, maybe I should do this by myself, or maybe I should try this out. Or like, oh, something kind of clicks, where it's like, just allow everything to be. And you're like, oh, now I see, like, oh, or like some of these analogies, like, yeah, just let the mind run like a wild horse, like give it infinite space. It's like, here, you got like 1,000,000 acres, run. And that thing just runs. It just runs. And then it's like, naturally, it just stops running. It just kind of comes back. And you're like, I've always been trying to control it. The thing that I've never tried was just letting go of control.
Yeah.
It's always like what you've never done. And actually what you do, everything that I'm telling you to do is actually not a doing. It's being. It's like, let that thing be. Just allow it. It's not, there's no point I'm giving you like, here's what to do. That's the thing, what prevents us from actually being like meditative, is we're doing too much.
Yeah.
A lot of times people think that meditation is all about concentration. They're like, all right, I got to focus. What do I focus on? And then now you're too tense. Focus is about a narrowing. Whenever you try and focus on something, it's like this narrowing. You'll see that this is completely different. That's why it felt so passive, is the actual, you relaxed your focus and there was this feeling of this. You're so used to narrowing, focusing on something. Whereas then this was a relaxing of the focus. So there's this feeling of like expansion, coming back, opening. So yeah, that's good.
It's good that to have you kind of explain a little bit, because I think that afterwards I probably would have been like, well, that wasn't that great because I couldn't be just present. I kept wandering away. So that
Yeah.
does inspire a little bit of confidence. And it was really weird because it was like, yeah, like that was the only thing. There was no awareness of anything except that wandering, because I think like at one point in like that wandering, like dream like state, I like thought I was like washing lettuce or something. And then I like came
Yeah.
back and I was like, holy shit, like that wasn't real.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the attention is just following it. It's not even that there's so much identifying with it, because you're not getting tangled in it. When you get entangled in it, it's like you're like believing that you're like, oh shit, I'm not going to get the job interview, and then I'm going to like not have the money to pay my rent, and then I'm going to have to give up this whole apartment, and then my girlfriend's going to dump me because I'm a reject, and then I'm going to be homeless, and then I'm going to die. Like that's being identified. That's creating like a crazy story. Right. Whereas this experience that you're talking about, it's like things are just kind of showing up, and it's like you're just watching them, but then it's like just attention that's getting kind of following it, watching it, kind of bring it back.
Yeah.
You just bring it back, right? It's just, it just gets caught up in it. But it's yeah, it's definitely significant. It's good that you mentioned that, and like that's the thing. Like it helps when you're just being open and you're like, oh, let me just share this experience. That's why I asked you to share, because it's like it's very important that you share it, that then I can offer some guidance or I can like confirm something.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you didn't share that and you're like, oh no, I don't want to, this guy's trying to wake me up and here I am dreaming again. It's not,
I mean, that was kind of like a thought that came into my head.
Yeah, it's not going to go well, but you see that it was a different flavor, because you're like, I haven't really experienced this type of dreaming, in a sense, where you're just kind of drifting. Because that's the feeling, right? Doesn't it feel like you're just drifting?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you're just drifting, or you're just drifting off. But because you're still aware and alert, you have that capacity to bring it back. That's why, is because that's your alert.
That's exactly what was happening. Yeah.
You're bringing it back. And that's what I mean, is like, that's what happens when you're still alert, when you're able to alert. It's like the body slips into a sleep, the mind slips into sleep, but you don't slip into sleep, because you are still aware of everything that went to sleep, showing that you're beyond it, because you observed. It was like one by one. Oh, the body's starting to snore. The body's becoming very still. The mind is becoming very still. Oh, there's no awareness of any thoughts. There's no awareness of a body. No awareness of a world. But there's the awareness of awareness. And what is aware? I'm mentalizing this, I'm verbalizing it, but this is all just it's like intuitive. It's just this knowing. I'm aware. It's me. Not me as a person, but me as this, what we are just calling awareness. It's indescribable. All these words that I use are just simply like pointing to something that's not a word. That all of this is contained in it. That all of this is actually made of it. But that's even deeper realization. So let's not go there. So that's good. Yeah, if you can, like, practice that, and that's kind of the idea that I want to kind of like, like help you guys with, like some of these meditations, is we can deepen these realizations and go deeper down the rabbit hole, as well as it gives you this sense of, okay, I'm practicing by myself, and then I kind of come back here, feel like I get the blast of like, okay, that's that energy, and it makes it easier. And it's kind of like, this is almost like riding the bike with the training wheels. It's easy to do it here, and then it just feels like it's a little bit more difficult by yourself. But the biggest thing is like kind of creating that commitment to yourself. That's what it is. It's not a commitment to me, it's a commitment to yourself. So cool. If you guys have any questions, shoot them. If not, let's we can wrap it up.
Thank you, Mitch.
You're welcome. You have a great day there, Simon.
I think that was
Luke.
helpful for me. That was good.
Cool. All right.
Really
okay,
nice.
guys. Cool. I will see you next time.